Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast, Two Bros Podcast. So we're doing something a little differently. We're talking about the NBA, the NFL, and then the WWE. This is our NBA portion. I am Matt. I am here with.
I'm Bryce. Let's hop right on into this NBA episode. So we have a lot because there is, I don't know if you guys paid attention, but the trade deadline is Thursday. We've already had quite a few moves, 3 to be exact. We've already talked about one in depth. The other one happened over the last week, so we're just going to talk about those two first. But let's talk about, before we get to the trades, let's talk about some other NBA news because Jalen Duren, Jackson Hayes, and Carter Bryant will all participate in the 2026 NBA dunk contest. What do you think about this?
You know, I hope that this gives the dunk contest some legs to stand on because it's been kind of bad. I mean, the fact that Mac McClung isn't in it is surprising to me. I mean, he's what?
He turned it down.
He's a defending champion, like multi-time defending champion.
Two straight defending champions.
So. He's been like the guy for it. You know, I hate saying this. I just don't care about the dunk contest. The All-Stars in general is kind of boring. I'm hoping that the the international versus, what's it called?
World versus US.
World versus US finally, brings some kind of value to it, but I just don't see much happening with that.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have some trade rumors because there are a lot of trade rumors that we're going to talk about. First is LeBron and the Lakers are ready to part ways. What do you think this looks like for LeBron for mainly the rest of this week and also the rest of the season?
In my opinion, it's not going to happen. I think this is just showing that the Lakers are more done than anything else. I think this is actually more of the Lakers being like, hey, we're ready to move on and we're ready to have Luka be our guy. And LeBron's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm 42. So I think this just shows that it's kind of time. Like, it is time to move on. I don't think it'll happen this season, probably in the offseason or anything else. He's not going to resign.
I don't know. I think that we've seen reports, and I think it's a lot more likely than it was last week when we talked about this. I do think there is a scenario where LeBron gets traded in the next 2 days because obviously the trade deadline is 2 days from now. So there's going to be a lot of trades that we're going to miss, obviously, today between this week and the next week's episode. But we are live streaming the trade deadline on Thursday. So we have to look up for that. But Andre Drummond is likely to be traded before Thursday. And I'm hearing a team that could actually make a trade for him is the Rockets because they lost Steven Adams for the year. But I think he's going to have a great deal of suitors. I think this is a guy who rebounds the ball well. He's improved as a shooter. He's a guy that is a good passer for the center position. So I do think that this is a really, it will happen. I do think this trade will happen.
I think Andre Drummond is a guy that most teams can afford to have. Like you said, one of the best rebounders in the league, and his passing as a big man is super, super vital to a team. We're seeing a day where a guy like Jokic puts up like almost 11 assists per game
before the first half ends.
But so versatility from a big man is massive. Of course, he's not the most elite scorer, but you don't need him to be, especially for a team. Especially let's just say a team like the Rockets pick him up. You already have Kevin Durant, Reed Shepherd. Whenever Fred VanVleet comes back, even Amen Thompson's a decent scorer. Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun. You don't need him to score, but you really could utilize his rebounding and his passing.
Yeah,
I think he could be a guy who gets moved, and you'd be surprised to see how much better the team gets once they get him.
Yeah. Before there were the two trades, we're going to talk about the rumors first before we actually talk about the actual trades. Lonzo Ball is linked to the Hornets, which means if this happens, the Ball brothers will be on the same team for the first time since they were in Chino Hills.
The happiest man in the world would probably be their dad,
LeVar Ball.
I think he would buy a house in Charlotte.
He would actually. I think
it's funny because LaMelo is in rumors to be traded, so I don't know how smart that is.
Could they be traded for each other?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would be very happy to get LaMelo in Cleveland.
Well, we're going to talk about the Cavs later because they're on this twice. Next, the Celtics are looking to upgrade at center by shopping Anthony Simons.
Yeah,
What do you think that this could look like for an Anthony Simons center deal? And who do you
so
think potentially gets traded for
if
Anthony
I'm, in my
Simons?
opinion, I think the perfect move for them would be Miles Turner. The Bucks are realistically not trading Giannis. I know we're going to talk about him in a little bit. I don't think he moves at all, but I think the perfect move is Miles Turner. The Bucks need somebody who can kind of complement Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr. really well, and I think Anthony Simons is young enough to still be that guy. He can average 25 a game on a bad team, and I think Miles Turner fits what the Celtics want to do. Now the question is, do the Bucks want to make the Celtics any better?
Yeah,
I don't think that, but I think the perfect trade is to get Miles Turner. I
I
think if we're
it
talking
is. I do
realism,
think.
I think you could see a Mitchell Robinson moved, maybe a
Maybe
Yves
potentially Andre
Missi,
Drummond.
Yves Missi or Andre Drummond. I just think the perfect trade scenario, especially with the financial implications, would be Miles Turner.
Yeah, I this is a weird trade deadline for me because with all the hype that's information, with all this hype the trade deadline has, I feel like we're going to be all severely disappointed because you have guys like Anthony, Anthony Davis, John Morant, LeBron, Giannis, Anthony Simons, Michael Porter Jr. all in trade talks, and we could potentially see all of them get traded or absolutely none of them get traded,
Which kind of
and we
blows
could
my mind
just
because you almost have to lean towards none of them.
yeah.
Like, oh,
Are you here?
yeah, sorry, I was getting a phone call.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, we could get a world where all five of those trades happen or none of them. And you're right. I think it is looking more likely like none of them get moved because the likelihood of all five of them getting traded is almost none. But we've also seen crazier things. Luca wasn't supposed to get traded at the deadline last year, but he did. Yeah, and if Luca is traded, nobody is safe. If Luca was traded by the Mavericks and put in a player that was absolutely untouchable for their franchise to get traded, like Luka Doncic, everybody's on the table. So next we have the Mavericks are fielding calls for the vet pieces, which means they're going to try to move D'Angelo Russell, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford will probably be on the move.
Clay Thompson.
That yeah, that's a trade that the Celtics could make for is Daniel Gafford.
Yeah,
That is a potential
in
trade.
my opinion, I think the only place we're going to see Daniel Gafford go is LA. I think the Lakers are the perfect fit for him, but I could so to me, I think you're going to see Klay Thompson probably make his way back to Golden State. I think it's almost inevitable that they try to pick him off. Pick him up. I would not be surprised to see Moses Moody or like B Pods sent out to get him. Um, I think D'Angelo Russell is a buyout candidate,
That's
in my
fair.
opinion. I think you
I
see a
totally
guy
forgot
like
that Klay Thompson was there. I totally
I,
forgot he
I
was
think
there.
you see a guy like PJ Washington probably head somewhere like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And also I think the biggest potential trade that we're not expecting is Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
Kyrie should not be off the table just because he's probably not coming back this season. And any team who really wants to give themselves a chance next year should make the move for Kyrie Irving. I
yeah.
think you're going to watch him. I think you don't recognize how, or no, people don't recognize how good of a player and a good of a teammate Kyrie Irving is, especially for someone who has a younger point guard. I think a team like the Rockets, the Spurs, the Timberwolves would be outstanding to grab him for next season.
There we have to add more
Oh, what just happened?
because now Cleveland is also in talks for Giannis and Anthony Davis.
Neither of them are going anywhere. Well, you guys heard it here. Cleveland, for some reason, thinks they're contenders.
Well, we're going to talk about a potential
I
trade
hate
too.
this.
So now that we have to add the Cavs into the link to Giannis because now they're talking to Giannis. Now they're talking to Milwaukee about a trade. So now the Wolves, Heat, Warriors, and Cavs are all linked to Giannis.
Guys, you see this pimple right here? It's from stress of my Cavaliers. I hate this stupid team. So, as a Cavs fan, I'll be the one to break the news on this. James Harden requested a trade practically, and he is linked to Cleveland for a Darius Garland potential trade. This is the stupidest idea. Cleveland is not ready. Even with James Harden, they're not ready. In my opinion, they're a year or two. I think they need to blow it up. I just don't look at Cleveland's roster and think this is a championship roster. I like Donovan Mitchell. I like Evan Mobley. Jared Allen should be gone. Darius Garland should be gone. Besides that, you can't win. And I think that we're watching that this is the NBA where, hey, you don't need a super team. You don't need a bunch of superstar players. You need a good rotational offense. And when they lost Ty Jerome, you kind of saw how their bench fell apart. That facilitating off their bench really fell apart. So moving for a Giannis, and Anthony Davis, or a James Harden just doesn't make sense for them because they're not there. You can have a great starting unit, but when your backups come in and there's nobodies, what are you going to do?
And I feel like a lot of fans are just enamored with the fact that if our team gets a superstar, we're good. When that is never, you will never win an NBA championship with 5 starters and no bench.
A perfect example is look at the Bucks. I think Giannis is a top 5 player in the NBA. I think he's the best. If you take away Jokic, Giannis is the best player in the NBA. They suck. They have what, 18 wins on the season?
Yeah.
They're terrible. And it's not Giannis's fault, but it's because their roster is not constructed to win. Cleveland's roster is not constructed to win with the team they have now, let alone gutting it for Giannis.
Keep in mind around a year
ago. You're going to keep Jalen Tyson? You think you're going to keep Evan Mobley? No, they're gone.
Keep in mind around a year ago, Milwaukee fired Adrian Griffin after he was 30-13, and now they're a dumpster fire. They're terrible now.
A year ago, Cleveland had about 7 losses on the season. They have 20.
Yeah.
Cleveland's team is not ready, and that's fine. It's okay to be a year or two away, but you don't gut your roster, your young talent off the bench. Craig Porter Jr., Jalen Tyson. What's his name? Wow, my brain's. I'm pissed off. My brain's freezing. Fine, trade Lonzo Ball. Get assets out of him. Do not pick up Giannis.
Yeah, and then they're also linked to Anthony Davis now too.
A guy who probably won't be back for another 2 months.
He won't be back for another 2 months, but I don't think they're looking at now. I think they're looking at 2 months from now to get a potential late of the season surge.
Play at all?
We don't know at this point. We don't at this point because Anthony Davis is a guy who in a year has played 12 games with the Mavs.
So stupid.
Yeah. And now the final one, as you just talked about, James Harden requested a trade, and it looks like that trade is close to happening. I saw it in the same report. So it looks like the James Harden Darius Garland trade is close to happening.
I hate this. You're going to see a brief pause. And when you come back, you're going to see Bryce and I reacting to a trade article that is through Bleacher Report. So we'll see you guys there. All right, we are back. So this is an article I found a little earlier on the trade deadline. 10 trades that they think should happen. Ignore these ads. You're not sponsored. Get out of here.
Yeah, no.
This Bryce, is I've already looked through these. Bryce, you're going to tell me what you think of them. All right.
Okay.
Number 1, yes. Miles Turner to the Hawks. The Hawks get Miles Turner for Kristaps Porzingis and a top 5 protected pick in 2031 swap.
Honestly, I think this is good. I think for a guy like Miles Turner, this is a good haul. They get a pick and they get Kristaps, who is an all-star level center, and they get it's older, but I think it's an expiring contract. I think it's an expiring contract. Don't quote me, but they get a future draft pick. So that's really the big thing. And if Giannis is there, I do think that this is an upgrade. Not much, but it's not an upgrade in the sense that Kristaps Porzingis never plays.
I think Kristaps Porzingis offers more of what the Bucks need. He offers spacing. He offers
Miles Turner defense, does too.
But Kristaps is a better shooter, in my opinion. He offers better spacing. He's actually a much better facilitator than Miles Turner.
Yeah, he is.
I think the one thing the Bucks are really missing is a facilitator. Kristaps is the kind of guy who can pass the ball very well. Miles Turner, I think he's outstanding. Very underrated, in my opinion. Having a rough season, but that's because he's being forced to be the number 1 option when he's just not that guy.
Yeah, and I think it'll work alongside Jalen Johnson in Atlanta if it happens.
Yeah,
I do think this trade is more likely to happen for the Bucks than it is for Giannis.
I agree.
I do think it is. Although now we're seeing reports that the teams are in talks for Giannis, so we may both be dead wrong at this point.
We can be. Look, on Thursday, you guys could see the longest video we've ever posted, but trade Daniel Gafford to the Lakers.
This is a trade that actually
Daniel Gafford, second round pick. The Mavericks would receive Gabe Vincent. Any Lakers fan would be happy to get him off the roster. A top 5 protected pick from LA in 2031, sorry. And the Jazz received Dalton Connect and Dante Exum.
Why hasn't this trade happened yet?
As a Lakers fan?
Why hasn't this trade happened yet?
Here's the question.
Why?
So, if this happens, what happens to DeAndre Ayton? Is he a backup or is he traded?
No. Well, I do think he finishes out because he has a 2-year contract. I think it's a 2-year 16. And I do think as a backup center, you can do a whole hell of a lot worse with DeAndre Ayton as your backup. However, will DeAndre Ayton want to be a backup center? Because he's a guy who is already who's pretty much has always been all about himself. He is a guy that wanted to play for a second contract, and he is now on his third contract, and you see that he actually doesn't care to get any better.
Bryce, you're obviously a Lakers fan. Would you rather have Daniel Gafford or DeAndre Ayton?
Daniel Gafford, and I did think DeAndre Ayton was good at first, and now he's just fooling everybody. He fooled everybody.
It's so clear
he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't care.
All right, this one scares me. Nick Claxton to the Celtics. Anthony Simons and a protected pick would head to the Brooklyn Nets for Nick Claxton.
This is the perfect trade for Anthony Simons if you're the Celtics, because this is a starting caliber center that realistically should have been gone from the Nets a few years ago.
Yeah, he's being wasted away. This Nick Claxton is such an underrated player, like outstanding, does such a good job, and the fact that he's still stuck in this team, I feel for him.
Yeah, and I think everybody knew that the Celtics brought in Anthony Simons to be a trade piece anyways at the deadline, because I knew that they expected this to be a gap year, which is why they didn't focus on center. But now they're like, we can actually compete.
And what's interesting to me is, I don't think they expected Anthony Simons to play this well.
Yeah, no.
They all knew he was good, but I think he's really helped them out by being so good that it boosted his trade value even more.
It really did. And it also helps that they're a lot better than they expected to be. But I did see something that Jason Tatum is probably not going to play this year. So this is a gap year regardless.
But no matter what, to be a second or third seed in your gap year, it's really looks good for them for the future. And then to add a guy like Nick Claxton, who's still very young.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's be honest, you lost Al Horford, who was your center. You have your center of the future along with Jason Tatum and
Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard.
Let me see. Oh, Peyton Pritchard is definitely their guy, their point guard.
Yeah. He's a backup point guard.
You actually saw this early, but Michael Porter Jr. to the Clippers. They would give up John Collins, Bogdan, and a 2031 first-round pick swap, and then a top 10 protected pick in the 2032 draft for Michael Porter Jr. What do you think of this, Bryce?
This is the wrong LA team that needs to be making this move.
I also think it doesn't make sense for the Clippers.
It doesn't, because Michael Porter Jr. is not a guy that should be the key piece you're getting. He should be the final piece. And with the Clippers, especially after this James Harden trade, this is going to be a guy who is actually your number 2. And we've seen Michael Porter Jr. excel on the Denver Nuggets as the number 3 guy. And right now in LA, with the other LA team, with the Lakers, he would be the number 3 or the number 4 right now if they keep LeBron. If they keep LeBron this year, he'd be the number 4, and the next year he'd be the number 3.
Yeah, I don't get this, and I think it makes no sense for both teams. Because let's be honest, what you're getting is not really that much value. Yeah, John Collins has played ever since we hit this new year, or I would say after like mid-December, John Collins has been playing great basketball.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, he's not playing well enough to warrant what value you're going to get from Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, no, Michael Porter Jr. has really helped his trade value this year by being the number 1 option in Brooklyn.
This next one, I actually think is a very good move for both teams.
Oh my God, the Wizards just make moves. Oh my goodness.
Bryce, this would be Domantas Sabonis heading to the Wizards for Chris Middleton, Cam Whitmore, and a top 5 protected 2027 first-round pick. What do you think of this for both teams?
This is incredible. If the Wizards can somehow manage to get Domantas Sabonis and Trae Young for 1 combined first-round pick, this is the greatest 2 trades in NBA history.
You get rid of a guy who's not been efficient for you in Cam Whitmore and an older veteran on an expiring contract in Chris Middleton.
Yeah, this is great. I love it. And then it helps the Kings too, because they get off of a huge contract while getting a top 5 protected first-round pick.
And a guy like Cam Whitmore who you can develop.
And apparently the 2027 draft is the draft that everybody wants, because those 2027 draft is the one that everybody's keeping their picks or using them to get an absolute superstar, because apparently the 2027 draft is going to be the draft.
That's crazy, because we see this upcoming draft has 3 generational type talents.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
This next one, Zach LaVine to the Philadelphia 76ers. This makes it a little harder because Paul George has just been suspended, and I
don't know if he can be traded.
Trades. I believe suspensions are not the same as if it's an injury happens, you can still trade. I believe suspensions do block trades. I might be wrong. I don't know. Zach LaVine would head Zach LaVine would head to Philly for Paul George in the top 5 pick in 2030.
The only way this can realistically work is if you're allowed to trade suspended players. I do think this helps the Sixers because they get a super talented scorer who has never played contributing basketball, so I don't know how much it would contribute. The Sixers aren't exactly a good team still. They're not a great team. They have Joel Embiid, so he wouldn't be the number one option. They have VJ Edgecombe. They have Tyrese Maxey, so what? He would realistically be the third or fourth option. And I don't know if Zach LaVine is a guy that could translate to a lot of off the ball, and that's what he would have to do
I
in
think
Philadelphia.
this is a lose-lose for both teams. I think no matter what, they're both this is the only trade that could work because they're both making around the same money and they don't really have any value either way. But I
Yeah,
think Zach LaVine is proving to be a little bit more valuable than Paul George right now. Being a little bit younger, being on
I don't know. Paul
a
George does
smidge
play good
smaller,
defense.
being on a smidge smaller contract, I think Zach LaVine would be probably the biggest winner of this trade. Getting out of Sacramento is always a good thing for you. I think for him, he's still a good enough player to where his game can translate in general. I think he might thrive being a fourth option. Right now in Sacramento, he's forced to chuck as many shots as possible. Letting him receive a pass from Joel Embiid or Tyrese Maxey might help him a lot.
I do think we do see a world where Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine are all traded within the next 2 days. I do think
I
there
think
is a
it's
scenario where we see all of them.
the
I think
Kings
it's the
need to
smart
do
thing to
that.
do. But the Kings aren't exactly a smart organization. They're the team who passed on Luka Doncic because they didn't like
Speaking
the
of Luka
coach and
Doncic,
they drafted Marvin Bagley.
you guys should probably see right here the 50 worst NBA trades of all time.
It's the worst
We
trade of
will
all
be
time.
reviewing that for our Thursday live stream. So I'm
Oh,
actually
hell
gonna
yeah. Hell yeah.
save this. I'm going to save that because we will be going over that while talking about trades and in between that. But
You
that
can
is
always
one
hit the
fun one to
next
do.
button so you don't have to scroll down. You can just hit the next button and then it
Oh my
goes, yeah.
gosh. Anthony Davis to the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors receive Anthony Davis. The Mavericks receive RJ Barrett, Jakob Pertl. How do you say that name, Bryce?
Ochai Agbaji.
Thank you. A top 3 protected 2027 first round pick from Toronto. The Nets receive D'Angelo Russell and a second round pick. Bryce, what do you think?
Honestly, this is a win-win for all parties. I think because the Raptors get an upgrade at the big man position. I do think that he is a guy who playing less minutes, Anthony Davis, would actually be beneficial to his career
You
because we
sound
thought
cold. I am so
and then
sorry
the,
for that.
the Mavs get a bunch of good pieces and a draft pick for a team that's realistically going to be good in 2027. And then the Nets get D'Angelo Russell back, which is where he played his best basketball. And this
And
will
a
be
pick.
his third stint in Brooklyn, and they get a draft pick. So,
At
yeah,
this point, they're going to retire his jersey.
they might as well just
How
retire
much
the
he's
one.
played there? He's probably played
Yeah.
there. I think he may have the most. He might be close to the most career games in the Nets at this point.
No, that's Brook Lopez.
I'm kidding, but still,
Yeah, but still. He's one of the greatest Nets of all time. So,
it's
if that
crazy to
happens.
think that he actually is. Like he balls out when he's with the Nets. Like this man does not know how to stop hitting threes when he's on the Nets.
He
No,
really
I agree
doesn't.
with you. I think this is one of the first triple wins. I think all 3 teams get a good move, especially because I think you have to expect this trade to happen after Michael Porter Jr. is traded. They're going to see a dip in their scoring. And I'm sorry, Cam Thomas isn't that guy. D'Angelo
He's
Russell's going to
not.
pick up where Michael Porter left off.
Yeah.
Larry Markkinen to the
The-
Detroit.
This is the exact trade. Well, minus speed. This is the exact trade that I mocked up last week.
Bryce. So for anyone who watched that and you think Bryce grabbed, this is off of what's it called? A website? No, Bryce mocked those himself. He went
I
into
mocked
a
them.
trade.
I went into the
He-
NBA trade machine.
He made these himself and found the contracts that match. Larry Markkinen and Svi Mikhailiuk would head to Detroit. Holy crap! For Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert,
Well,
Jaden
it's
Ivey,
yeah.
and a bunch of firsts.
I didn't have Svi or Jaden Ivey, but
If
I
I
did
can be
mock
honest here,
the entire trade myself.
the Pistons shouldn't make this trade. I think the Pistons have a great cohesive unit right now, and we have seen where you adding a great player can mess with your rotation and mess with your depth. I think the Pistons stay where they're at.
I love this trade. I don't think I love it as much as the one I did because you only give up 2 players as opposed to 3, and you get Lowry. And I do think Jaden Ivey is a good piece. Well, I do think Jaden Ivey will be traded. I do think he will. I don't think that they think he has a future with the Pistons, so I do think he will be gone regardless. But I do think
Lowry
this
is worth
trade
4
will
firsts.
happen. He's not worth 4 firsts, but I think I did say this that he was going to go for multiple firsts and take what you will with the multiple firsts.
Sorry, I'm having technical issues. Ja Morant to the Heat. I actually stopped looking at this after the Pistons trade because I got busy with work. Terry Rozier and Simone Fontecchio and a first-round pick for Ja Morant.
No, this is a terrible trade.
Awful
Like the
trade.
Grizzlies get a good bench player in Simone Fontecchio. Terry Rozier is banned from the NBA, and then the 2020.
Actually, I think he might be. I think he was cleared.
No, he still hasn't played yet.
But he's been
But-
cleared of his involvement. I read something
That's-
saying. Let me look it up while you're talking about your thoughts on this trade.
But this is a trade that, yes, is Ja Morant the greatest player? No. Does he have a lot of trade value? Absolutely not. But I feel like even with all the terrible trades that people are that they're gonna get, the DeMar DeRozan
Oh,
trade is
you
better.
want a salary dispute? My bad.
Yeah, no. And what's
Man,
it called?
he got 26 million. Oh, so basically he's getting it paid while he's on his suspension.
Oh, so he's on paid
Which,
leave.
if you look at it, the moment they willingly let you start getting paid is when they probably expect you of no wrongdoing.
Oh, so
But no, I agree with you. I think no matter what, even if Terry Rozier can play, he's not worth Ja Morant.
no, he's not.
And what's going to happen is they're going to get Ja Morant, right? This 2029 first round pick is going to go to near the end because the Heat already have a very good team.
Yeah, and then you get to keep Tyler Hero. They keep Tyler Hero in
To
this
me,
trade?
I think Hero's going to get moved this trade.
And they keep Bam. They keep Wiggins, Bam, and Tyler Hero.
So
in
you're
this
going to have
trade?
you're going to have Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell,
Khalil Ware. They keep Khalil Ware
Ware,
too.
and then Ja Morant. How do you expect to win this trade if you're Memphis?
You don't.
And the final trade on this, Bryce, we're going to look at this together. Oh, of course. All right. So stupid. He's not moving, but Giannis Antetokounmpo will be heading to the Warriors. The Warriors receive Giannis, Kyle Kuzma, and Thanasis. The Bucks receive Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Zaire Williamson, a massive amount of first-round picks, and the Nets get Moses Moody. The winner of this trade is the Nets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Warriors are gutting their roster, and they're getting Kyle Kuzma and Thanasis.
The Bucks receive a haul.
The Bucks will receive a haul, but Jimmy Butler's injured. Kuminga, sorry, he sucks. Zaire Williams.
but I feel like this would be Jonathan Kuminga's team. Assuming they do the Miles Turner trade, who would be there?
I still put
Kristaps
Ryan
and
Rollins.
Jonathan
I still put
Kuminga.
Ryan Rollins over him.
I mean, I feel like yes, Kuminga's draft trade value has gone down, but I do feel like if you give Jonathan Kuminga the keys to an offense, he will be a monster. The Warriors lose this trade only because they got their entire team. They lose all their future assets for this, and we don't. And Kyle Kuzma, you get Kyle Kuzma. This is a net negative.
What is he even
for any
averaging
team
right
that
now?
gets Kyle Kuzma?
What is Kyle? I'm looking it up right now. What is
I
Kyle
don't know.
Kuzma averaging?
And obviously, Moses Moody is great because the Nets get another young guy to potentially maybe build. Although I don't know how that's going to work because they are so guard heavy. It's not even funny. And then
he's actually having a really efficient season. I got to be honest. Averaging 12.8 on 48 from the field, 32 from three, and 73 from free throws.
And then if
4
they
rebounds
do,
and 2 assists.
and then if they do this potential other trade where they get rid of Michael Porter Jr. and then get what's the trade we talked about earlier where they get D'Angelo Russell. Like they're so guard heavy, so this trade doesn't really make sense for all parties. But I do like it for the Nets.
In my opinion,
I like it for the Bucks, and I don't like it for the Warriors.
The Bucks,
because
you're right. The Bucks are probably the ultimate winners in this trade. The only reason the Warriors are the ultimate losers is because of Thanasis and Kyle Kuzma. I think the two of them take up too much of your salary. I think Kyle Kuzma will play very meaningless basketball. While, yes, he's having an efficient season, you're going to now ask him to step up as the third option on this team.
although I do like it because they keep Draymond in this sense. I do like it.
I don't think they're done. If they trade for Giannis, I think you use Draymond's contract and you make a move for a bigger center. I think you think about what the heck? Mitch Robinson. Miles Robinson.
It's a Miles Turner and Mitchell. Oh my God, that
Oh
would
my
be
God.
the
A
absolute.
Mitch Robinson, I think if you can use Draymond's contract, you have to get him.
Here's my thing, but Mitchell Robinson makes way less than Draymond Green does.
Yes, but the Knicks
So
have money to work with.
yeah, but I
Or
feel like
fine,
the
you want to go to the Knicks? You want to go to the Knicks? Let's gut ourselves even more. Screw it. Let's get Cat.
I feel like Cat would help the Warriors a whole lot more
If you can
than
get Cat
Giannis
and
would.
Giannis, I feel fine on that. Because you
Yeah,
could probably flip Kyle Kuzma and Draymond Green's contract to get him.
probably. But yeah, you don't have draft capital because they gave it all for Giannis.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. I don't think the Knicks are looking for draft capital. They're looking to win now.
But does that necessarily help you win now?
In my
Getting
opinion,
worse?
yes, they're awful defensively. You're going to give up a guy who really can't play much defense in Karl Anthony Towns and get a multiple-time Defense Player of the Year winner? Yeah,
But
I'll
I
take that.
I think it's a lose lose only because that trade's a lose lose. Well, it's a win for the Warriors because they get Cat, but it's a lose for the Knicks because they're not. They don't get a player that's near the caliber of the goal of Cat in this trade. And I'm not high on Cat anyways, but Cat Draymond Green's skill set only works if he doesn't have to do that much, whereas he can kind of do it all. And I feel like with the Knicks, he would have to do a lot more than
You know
he can
what?
actually do.
You're actually right on that. I got to give you credit on that one.
So I do think it's a lose for the Knicks, but I think it's a massive, obviously, win for the Warriors.
My question on this is, let's just say this trade happens and we see Giannis heading to what's it called? Heading to the Bay. Where do they finish in this loaded West? Because they're
I
playing.
don't know. I I do think it helps them because I do think they get Kyle Kuzma, which helps them off the bench because I don't think he's going to play. He's going to play at center.
I mean,
Although
losing Kaminga and Moody, your bench starts to hurt a lot.
I do feel like this is the wrong move because I feel like they still do need an upgrade at center. I still think the Warriors need a center upgrade.
I mean,
This
they're
is
running
something that
a post right now.
as long as Steph Curry and Steve Kerr have been there, the Warriors have not prioritized. Well, as long as Steve Kerr's been there, they haven't prioritized the center position. They haven't.
Yeah. They were
And
Andrew Bogut for a few years, who was good, but
yeah, but he's not.
injured DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, they had JaVale McGee,
James
which that was when
Wiseman.
they were at their best. James Wiseman
Kevon
didn't
Looney
work out. Yeah, Kevon Looney is in New Orleans now. Yeah,
barely plays. No, I think the only team who really should make a move for Giannis, in my opinion, is Minnesota. I think
yeah,
they're the only team who makes sense. But the thing is, do you
yeah.
give up Jaden McDaniels, who is a literal top 10 defender in the league, who gives you 15, 5, and 5 on a fish?
No, I don't know. I really don't. But let's check the NBA rumor mill to see if there's any more.
Bryce is checking
No.
the rumors to see if there's anything else happening right now. But let us know what you guys think of the trades we looked at. Let us know what you guys think of our opinions on this. It's kind of fun. Bryce is right. I just saw the notification that it's pretty close to being done for James Harden to Cleveland. Please don't.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what else they give up because it can't be Garland for Harden. It's not going to happen.
No, it
Are they
can't
going
be
to
that
give
straight
up
up.
Garland and Craig Porter? Are they going to give up Garland and picks?
Garland and Max Strus, maybe.
That's not. So my thing is, you cannot give up Jalen Tyson. He has to be him, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell need to be foundational pieces you don't move.
My thing is with the Cavs. After this, I feel like they have to make another move because James Harden is not enough. He's not. James Harden is not enough.
I don't think
because
he's much of an upgrade.
your defense was bad with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't improve. This defense doesn't improve at all. So they're going to need to get a defensive point guard, Jose Alvarado.
I mean, but you
Maybe
have
that's a
great
trade
defensive
you
point
make.
guard off the bench. Lonzo
Oh
Ball,
yeah, yeah,
but
that's
he's not
true.
playing
But
much for them.
that's true. Like this, I feel like after Ty Jerome left, they did some rash decisions. Well, not rash decisions. Like they traded Isaac Okoro for Lonzo, which was great
Which made
to
sense in
have.
the offseason.
But if you're not going to use Lonzo, try to get Ty Jerome back. Try to.
He's injured right now.
Oh yeah. Well, still they can trade for him. Still.
I think there's trading for James Harden feels like a rash decision. I think if anything, the Clippers win that trade. James Harden, in my
Oh,
opinion, is outstanding. He doesn't fit the timeline of
the
Cleveland.
Clippers get way younger.
They
They
get
get way
younger and they
younger,
get a player who fits really well with their team.
and he's also very similar.
Stop buying jerseys.
I think he's a better offensive player because he's more efficient and he's not going to. Yes, James Harden will explode and have those 60-point games, but also you'll have that streak where James Harden is cannot knock down shots. Darius Garland is more efficient. He's consistently 21-9.
The
Consistently,
one
like
other thing
21-7.
on this is, everyone says trading James Harden is punting your season. If you can get a guy like Darius Garland and another backup piece, I think that really helps the Clippers in general.
I think it
I think they
does.
stay at the level they're at. They're a play-in team and they're pretty firmly cemented there at this point. You
Yeah.
can kind of see the difference. I don't foresee them missing the playoffs. I think they're probably not going to win a playoff series no matter what.
Yeah.
But I
No.
think you're planning for next year with Darius Garland versus
You're
going
planning for next
27
year and then some.
versus him James Harden's 37 next year.
This is like the Lakers with Luke. Well, I can't believe I'm comparing
No,
this,
the
but this is
same.
like the Lakers. This is the same because the Clippers' future was directionless with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and the Clippers' future right now with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard is directionless. Whereas if you can get a guy like Darius Garland, this is a guy who you can actually, him and John Collins could actually do something because John Collins is still, he's not even 30 yet. John Collins isn't.
If you trade John Collins and get another younger player to build up,
Yeah.
honestly, why are you not shopping Kawhi Leonard at this point as well?
I mean, Kawhi, he's their star. He's their guy. He should not be.
He's also only
he should
32.
not be traded. Yeah,
32
He's
isn't the age where you're going to expect a regression.
Yeah, and he's also been a lot healthier. This year.
Also, what
He's
the hell?
also
Snub,
been
a massive all-star snub, and
Yeah,
how did
him and
Denny
Joel
make it
Embiid.
over him?
Well, Denny should have made it up. Denny should have been an all-star.
No.
But yeah. Anyways, we have less than a minute left, so that's gonna do it. If you guys liked it, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys for the Super Bowl episode. Peace.